Hi guys, and welcome to RCC Adventures. This time we're working in the garden this time because we are still working on a vehicle, and it's another one of the RCC fleet, but it's not one you've seen before because it's never featured at all, and it's not the type of vehicle that has an engine or anything like that, so you can kind of guess by that it's well, I'll just go show you. So yeah, it's a push bike. It's a Raleigh Savanna. It's from late 80s, early 90s. I've had it for about a year or so. I was riding it a lot before lockdown, and then obviously lockdown happened. This ended up staying down at the boat, and I just haven't used it ever since. It needs a good service, and so we'll be doing part of that today. But one of the major things I need to do is sort out that tyre, because I know for a fact that it's got a flat. Well, obviously it's got a flat, but I tried to pump it up the other day and I noticed that there's actually a split in the inner tube, so I've got another inner tube. But it's a nice original bike. Not a lot's been done to it. I think the tyres are not the originals, because they are, well, one, they're really good nick, and two, I'm pretty sure when this bike came out they were thinner tyres. Might have been road tyres, but I think they were thinner. But it's had some extra bits put on it. It's like there's a case there for the battery for my light, and some other bits that other people have used on it and all this. I've changed the seat as well because it had one of the old, sort of really old 90s hard, crappy seats on it that you need surgery afterwards. So that's been changed, and to get it going, I gave it an initial service when I first got it, which was about a year ago. So I just checked the brakes over, and I'm just going to get out the sunlight a little bit because it's glaring in my eyes. Yeah, just gave it a quick once over. Both tyres were flat on it when I first got it, and I picked it up from our local dump. And I thought, right, it's time to do some more exercise. At the time, it's what you want to do really. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do some more exercise, get some more cycling done, because I used to cycle all the time to work, and then I passed my test, which is now 9 years ago that I passed my test, and then I stopped riding. I used to ride all the time, and I thought it's time to get back into it. So I just went down the local dump because I knew they had bikes down there. Didn't care what condition it was in, I could always rebuild it. And turns out there was this one, which was basically a complete bike. Well, it was a complete bike, and just had flat tyres, and the chain was a little bit rusty, and about it. So I pumped tyres up, which they pumped up straight away, not a problem, and greased up the chain, and off I went. And good 3, 4, maybe even 5 months before lockdown, I was riding it to work all the time, from Gosport to Fareham, and yeah, used to ride it all the time. So then the first lockdown came along, and basically it's just been in storage ever since, and now we're in second lockdown. It's time to give it a bit of a service and get it running again and use it. Right, so that's the front one done, and now put the new inner tube in the back one as well. I've decided I'm just going to replace both inner tubes. That was a bit tricky trying to get the bike to balance with no rear wheel, but it's holding at the moment, so that's pretty good. Right, so we're going to go pump up the rear one with this new inner tube. Put the fronts to just below 60 because these tyres go between 40 and 65, so I thought, right, just under 60 would be good. Little cameo for the Chrysler in the bike video. You always get one of them in. Right, what I'm doing now probably goes over its lifetime. Probably hasn't been done that often, and I like to do it, especially when the rim's off. When you lube up the chain, sometimes it gets on the rim. And obviously this being a block brake set, it's not discs. The rim ends up with grease on it, so braking efficiency isn't great, so I like to give the rim a good clean down as best as I can, just to get rid of any contaminants. That way you might be able to stop. Look at that. That's just off the rim. That's just horrid. That's one side. It's probably brake dust as well. Good thing to do on your disc brakes as well. Use brake and clutch cleaner on your discs. Second wipe, still very dirty. I'll go over a bit dry, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. And whilst the wheel's off, we'll give the chain a lube as well with some silicone spray. Grease. It's pretty mank. Pretty mank, man. Use a new bit. I always highly recommend, if you've got a push bike, give it a good service every now and again, like you want a car. Just so it's in working order, because there could be that one day, say like you've only got 1 or 2 cars, well, say it's one car, and then that car breaks down, you need to get to work, you use a push bike or public transport. But at the moment, with lockdown, COVID and all that, best place, as long as it's not too far away, the best thing to do is to ride, in my mind. That's how I would prefer to do it. And plus, riding a bike's fun. Set your own pace, you don't have to be like the Tour de France people and go a million miles an hour. Set your own pace. There's plenty of cycle tracks, plenty of cycle lanes on main roads now, because they're trying to encourage people to go cycling. It's a good thing to do with the family. if I wasn't being such a tight arse, I'd go to a proper bike store and buy a bike, brand new one. And they sometimes come with warranty and you don't have to do this sort of thing on your own if you don't know how to. It's a good way of learning how to work on stuff. It's good entry level. And yeah, I would have had a brand new bike if I wasn't such a tight arse, but for the fact I went to a dump and found a complete bike for £5 for a bike like this, in pretty much fully working order, and it being a classic bike, it looks pretty good too. Right, put the lid back on that and grease up the chain. So there you go, a couple of service areas that I've addressed on the bike today. Just general stuff. You can go more in depth if you wanted to, but there's no need for this one because it was a working bike. It just needed new inner tubes really, and the chain being a bit greased up. You could go into brakes if you wanted to. That could be a next step for me because I need new brake blocks eventually, because the ones that are on there are pretty old. But I'll do them another day. And if you like what you see, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to get your notifications, and hit up any comments and hit that like button. I would love for you to hit that like button. Cheers guys.